Folks, we've got some breaking news you just have to know. Bob Iger, the CEO of the Walt Disney Company, allegedly, rumoredly, but from multiple sources now, is said to have sat down with the ladies of The View and said, no more. We cannot continue to bore our audiences with more TDS. And guess what happened next? Whoopi, Joy, Sunny, Anna, they told Bob, go take a hike. The answer is no. They refused the Disney CEO. Hello, folks. It's a wonderful day, a blissful day, because you've come our way. The studio is glistening because you're listening to us, and we appreciate you. Truly, folks. Another video of excellence on the way that drives the Hollyweirds mad. As we get ready to get started, help us be even more glad by clicking the like button, and we'll explain why Bob Iger has lost full control of Disney. The ladies of The View no longer listening to El Bobo. From Breitbart report, Disney ABC executives ask The View host to tone down the Orange Man bashing. And the story here is not what you think it is. I can't wait to show you what the story here is. Paul Boy, or Bois, has the article. Executives with Disney and ABC News have reportedly asked The View host to tone down their bashing of El Presidente, Donald El Trumpo, and political rhetoric overall. While The View hosts have never shied away from bashing Trump and Republicans in general, executives within the company have reportedly grown weary with the show's overemphasis on politics, feeling that it has strayed from its original inception as a talk show for women. According to the Daily Beast, two sources confirmed that Disney CEO Big Bobby Hippo Lovin' Iger and ABC News President Almin. Hey, Jonas, I've got a cough. I got a tickle in my throat. Could you say that last name real quick?
No.
Karamedvedik. Almin Karamedvedik recently held a meeting with The View host and executive producer Brian Teta. That'll be the one I miss, by the way. It'll be Tita. That'll be a four-letter last name will be the one that I can't pronounce. I got Karamedvedik, but Brian Tita. Asking them to shift the conversation away from politics. Karamedvedik highlighted episodes with celebrity guests that he said were highly rated, one source said, and encouraged them to lean into such coverage moving forward. I am still not to the news, folks. Don't go anywhere. I still haven't got to the news. We knew this. We reported on this exclusively that Bob Iger was going to talk to the ladies of The View. Okay, now we got the proof of it. This is not the news. We'll get to the news. Hang tight. While the Iger and Karamedvedik did not go far to demand a change, the suggestion still upset the hosts. Oh, here comes the news. With Ana Navarro reportedly telling them their audience tunes into the show for political perspectives, despite the fact their ratings are dropping. This is what our audience wants. I can't do that. We'll get in trouble for that one. This is what our audience wants. Isn't it going to look kind of bad if we're all of a sudden not talking about politics? Ana Navarro told them. Other hosts reportedly found the suggestions silly and vowed to keep doing their things. During Disney's upfront presentation to advertisers last week, Navarro reportedly confronted Iger. Navarro thanked Iger for allowing the host to continue doing their jobs in a politically turbulent environment. Iger confirmed he supported the show, but also reaffirmed that the show needed to tone it down. Another source familiar with the matter said ABC will constantly have conversations. Here's what you need to know, folks. Here's the news of it, okay? And by the way, before you say, oh, it's Breitbart, it's slanted. Oh, these guys are going to Breitbart. New York Post has it too. New York Post. Ariel Zilver has that, all right? Can I tell you what the real news is? It's not that Bob Iger went to them and said, hey, you got to cut this out. You're going to get us in big trouble, and we're losing ratings. It's not about that. That's not the news of it. The news is what the ladies said back to him. Bob went to the ladies of The View. Big Bob, the CEO, the House of Mousy Messiah, went to them and said, we need you to do this. And they said, no. And basically just that way. They said, niet. They said, no. They said, nada, nunca. They're not going to change. This reminds me of the Zegler story where the producer had to go over there and say, hey, you're putting your co-star's life in danger. Could you, maybe not do that? And she said, no. So this is the same thing. Bob is supposed to be the boss. Bob the boss went over there trying to be Bob the builder for relationships, trying to get them to behave. And they said to him, no, go mouse yourself. Get out of here. That's what they said. Kevin, that's what they told him. Can you believe it, Kevin? The ladies of The View had the gall, had the gusto They told Bob to go, mouse himself. Kevin, how can it be that they have this kind of power over their bosses?
You mean a bunch of shrill, expectant harpies ignored some good advice and threw a tantrum? I would have never seen that coming. Not from this group. Well, I don't know. Again, Bob built it, and Bob has to tear it down. And like I said earlier, it's not going to happen without some really tough, maybe even some embarrassing moves. The woman in the View, listen, it's not exactly a ratings triumph. No one really takes them seriously. They're not a draw. It's just a televised echo chamber for some miserable people that happens to be on when you go to the doctor's office 90% of the time. So, you can go and have the conversation with them, but you've paid them, you've overcompensated them, you've rewarded them for bad behavior, and no child in need of a spank bottom is gonna stop being a rotten little brat because you said please don't do that anymore. So, Bob, put on your big boy pants, go be a boss, and make an example out of somebody because it's not going to change. They don't have to. Right? They've been validated. They have cast themselves as the righteous moral force in the face of an orange tsunami come to take away everything you love. So this just kind of is what it is. I'm not shocked. It's going to keep happening. And if he doesn't do something, you're going to see it start happening in other divisions. Listen, look at CBS. Look at 60 Minutes. Billions of dollars on the line, lots of jobs, and they are emboldened enough, without even a sliver of celebrity that the woman on The View enjoy. And they've been emboldened enough to tank as best they can a $1 billion deal and potentially a multi-billion dollars in punitive damages. You're dealing with unhinged people who just function and exist to deliver their ideology.
Now, Kevin, people out there may think that that we're doing a video on The View. And I would argue that this really isn't. Like, we're not playing a clip. They didn't say anything stupid on the show. Well, I mean, if we did that, every day here would be The View, 4 times a day. This is more about Bob Iger having lost control. And you perfectly identified that. He built this. He made this thing about 2016. He decided he was going to push this thing way to the left to give himself the runway if he wanted to run for president on the side of the Democrat primaries. Okay. Now he's trying to fix that because it's a true stinker when it comes to the economy. Like this, they're getting devastated out there. So I want to show you how the game is played. Okay. New York Post has this. This is the defense that the View ladies are giving. This is the defense that is being given as to why they just can't change. Here's the quote. The View has remained a ratings draw. This is their defense. For Disney-owned ABC. According to Nielsen ratings, the show was the top-rated daytime network talk and news program during the first quarter of 2025. Well, that sounds really impressive, doesn't it? Well, it just stinks for them that we're part of the new media and we actually can explain what's going on here. Let me translate. The show was the top-rated, okay, good, daytime. All right, pause. What is daytime, folks? Daytime, typically in TV parlance, starts about 11 a.m. and goes until about 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. So we've got 3 or 4 hours, depending on how they want to define it, 3 or 4 hours of programming, because afternoon is the afternoon and morning is the morning. And then you've got prime time in the evening, right? And then late night. So daytime is basically 11 to 2 or 11 to 3. Network, talk, and news program. So within the confines of 11 to 2 or 3 p.m. on a network, only programs where they talk about the news, they're the top rated one. What does that mean? Well, it probably means The Price is Right is beating the pants off of them. I don't know for sure, but it probably means that Fox News is beating them, but they're not on the network. They're not a network show. They're a cable channel. You see how this is played? Like, yes, you are the top-rated thing. Star Wars is the top-rated sci-fi franchise right now amongst those who enjoy a galaxy far, far away and also only watch it at 3 a.m. on Disney Plus. Oh, well, it's the top-rated sci-fi. Anyway, that's how they play the game. That's their defense. That's how they're protecting themselves. Vash, the brash thing about this is they apparently have the power, and I don't know what it's going to take for the ideologues to be told by the Disney brass, no more. We're going to trash this. You can't keep being woke because it is literally causing us to be broke, and that era is over. What's it going to take, Vash?
I think you just have to say, hey, look, listen, you either, correct the ship or we'll correct it for you in the way of, well, maybe canceling your show. That's the only way to really handle this. That's the thing. Like you said, Pro, the company has been so politicized through, activists seeking positions of power and so forth, really forwarding their not so secret agendas in content, with their programming and so forth. You really do have to change the culture in profound ways. Maybe use the View as an example in order to do so. That's really the only solution I can find right here. We've been seeing a lot of stories, interestingly enough, from maybe perhaps Bob Iger or some in leadership making decisions, making changes that they maybe wouldn't have made before because perhaps they understand that there is a sea change occurring within the country, occurring within the populace, and occurring with who they actually advertise to. So I am encouraged that maybe we can see some changes. Maybe the View is one of them, and so forth. But it's going to take a lot of wrangling to do that. We've been seeing stories like, for example, we're working on a story currently right now with Venezuelans and Walt Disney World working there. There are some changes occurring there because of some of the changes actually by the Trump administration. But it seems that they are, not pushing back. They're actually going along with that. That's very, very interesting. We saw that Bob Iger was showing off Abu Dhabi to Trump personally. We've seen that, maybe he's in fights with Kevin Feige in order to wrangle back Marvel and the direction of that and so forth. So we do see some changes. We do see some things happening. It's just, can it be changed? Is it too late? Have people dropped off? Will people trust Disney again? Remember, back in the day, Disney used to be a plus, I think 70% when it came to approval rating before, the entire company that is, and now they have dropped precipitously. We had to talk to Mark Mitchell again about this, that being from Rasmussen, but I would think that their approval ratings are probably 30s, 20s, maybe somewhere in that realm, and that's nowhere that you want to be, and especially for a beloved brand like Disney. People who are invested in Disney, who maybe want to buy their products and so forth, they're not going to buy from a company associated with sub 40% approval ratings. That just doesn't happen.
Jonas, have you ever worked in a job where the boss comes in and says, "Hey, we're going to do it this way," and then you just say, "No," and that's just it? Boss walks away. You ever been in a company like that? I feel like Bob Iger's turned into Michael Scott, Jonas.
There's only been one job in which I've done that, and it was an SEC filing issue. So you really got to be careful when you play that card. You got to be pretty sure that you are stable, or you would be better off if they ended up firing you.
It looks to me, Jonas, like the same thing we saw out of CBS News, 60 Minutes, where the allegiance does not lie with the corporation. Whoopi and Sonny and Joy, they don't, like, Bob isn't their big CEO that they look up to, and they got to deliver for those shareholders. They are ideologically aligned and participatory with a partisan viewpoint, and if the View goes away, so be it. They'll go somewhere else. They don't care. At least that's the way I see it. Am I wrong?
No, I think that this is a company that is in need of repair. And to have someone like Bob Iger feel like he needs to intervene about a very specific element of the company right after he had a meeting with Donald Trump, also, of course, pointing that out, I would say that's a big deal. And if the company cannot be swayed by its CEO, well, then what point is that CEO?
Bottom line here, folks, Bob Iger said to do something, and the View refused. We'll see what happens, but Disney is losing control over their activists who are refusing to do what Bob Iger says they should to move this company back to the mainstream middle, the sensible center, where money is made. Good night, game over, drive home safely. Folks, this video is done. But before we all head home, we only ask one thing. Folks, as you get ready to head on out, consider clicking that like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those pesky algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below and share your thoughts, for a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Waste not that beautiful personality of yours. And folks, we would say as you get ready to head out the door, that it has been an honor to spend time with you, an attitude of gratitude each and every time that you elect to join together with us. Breaking bread and breaking entertainment, well, the industry. No, we like entertainment. It's the industry that irks us sometimes. Well, it was a good time. We hope you had a good time. Folks, until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Hey, Floral, guess what?
You put a fork in Pro's microwave again.
No, that was yesterday.
I don't know that what.
Oh, I've decided to give up on torturing Jonas.
What? Why? In the same way the cat sleeps like 20 hours a day, that was like your purpose.
I know, but I've decided there's bigger fish to fry.
Okay.
Like Lorne. I mean, think about it. Everybody loves him. He's a fan favorite, and frankly, he has almost no weaknesses I can find. Except that he's really smart.
So, you want to annoy the one panelist without a single flaw, because he's smart.
Yeah, like that winged statue at that fancy Paris museum thingy. I want to break the one thing that everyone loves most.
So, kind of like the opposite of Rachel Zegler.
Yeah, exactly. And I get to see her all the time at family reunions anyway.
You get to see Rachel Zegler?
Yeah. She's a total troll. Lives under a bridge, harasses billy goats, the whole 9 yards.
It all makes sense now.
Speaking of which, maybe she'll get me... Okay, call her on my... I'm gonna call her and see if she'll be in the next Indiana Jones. She should be the next Indiana Jones. That'll totally destroy Lord. He loves Indiana Jones.
Oh, that's cruel.
Hey, Rach. I've got a cool idea for you that involves a whip and snakes.
I love that description. It's perfect.
I know, right? Weird, as we always say.